Hello, friend. Thank you so much for joining me over on YouTube. I just want to give you a quick heads up that the training that you're about to see was originally recorded via Facebook Live over on our Facebook page. If you like what you see and would like to learn more, make sure you join us over on Facebook for weekly tips and tricks to help you grow your direct sales business and work smarter, not harder. Okay, guys, so let's dig in. So today we want to talk about three mistakes that you could be making in your parties. Unfortunately, they're easy mistakes to make, but fortunately, they're easy things to fix. So I'm going to walk you through what they are, what I've seen most recently, and then some simple ways to fix them. And, as people get to know me and my team, we get so many of the same questions, friends. We really, really do. And that's not bad because, first of all, it means that many of you are struggling with the same things and we can easily help you. We can help a lot of people. It also means that if you're struggling with your parties, you're not alone. Okay. So I know sometimes it can feel like you're on an island, especially as a business owner. You're the only one struggling, right? You're not. You're really not. Okay. There are lots of people that struggle with lots of different things. Other people, struggle with their parties, tweaking them, changing them. I struggled with them when I was in the field until I kind of got my systems nailed down. And so I wanted to walk through kind of three mistakes that I've seen pop up recently. These are three most common ones. And, within our Savvy Seller Squad, and then in some other groups, other coaching that I'm doing right now, other programs. And so I just want to walk through these three. And then I've also linked a post in the description of this live where you can check out 5 other things that I've identified that are really common problems with virtual parties. And I give you some tips on how to fix those. Okay, so let's walk through these. The first one, listen to me on this one. Talking too much or talking too little. Okay, and you may be like, what in the world do you mean by that? Okay, that might be confusing, but let me explain. All right. So clarity, when we think about the word clarity, that is foundational for business. And for my company, it is actually one of our guiding principles. As a team, this is how we work. We always work from clarity. And so every product that we put out, every program that we put out, we always measure it by how clear it is. How clear is the product and how quickly, because how clear the product is and how clear the message is and the training means the more clear it is, the easier it is for you to take action, the easier it is for you to actually use it to build your business. And so we want to be able to provide that clarity. And so when I'm looking at other parties, at people's parties, this is one thing I'm seeing. I've seen over the last several months and some party audits and other questions that pop up is that most of your parties don't give clarity to the customers, either because you're talking too little, so they don't get the information they need to take action, or you're talking too much. And when we talk too much, one of the things I always like to say, one of the things my coaches told me was confused people don't convert. So confused people don't buy, confused people don't host, confused people don't join your team. And what is like the main part of confusion is overwhelm. So if we overwhelm them with too much information, then they can't make a clear decision. Okay. So if you feel like, okay, well, maybe I don't know if I'm talking too little or too much, right? I'm trying to think this through, Mary. Okay. A few questions that you can ask yourself related to your parties. Okay. So when you share products that are a higher dollar value, so I'm thinking, $100 or more, higher dollar value, are you talking about them enough to build desire? This is another thing that I see. It's like, oh, check out this amazing thing. And then you post a video or something like a 30-second video that shows all the things about the product. That doesn't tell me why I need it. And then you don't talk about that product ever again. And those higher dollar products, friends, are the ones that people will host for. If they're in your starter kits, there are things that people will join for. So it can be the thing that pushes them over the edge. And it will also raise your party average because some people are just going to buy it, right? But you have to be clear. You have to communicate enough about it so that people know why they need it, okay? So a $200 product or a $100 product or a $300 product better not just have a little video in one sentence, friends. Okay. Do you really think that's going to convince someone to buy it? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. If you were looking at a $200 product, what are you going to do? Let's pretend, think of like the last high dollar thing I bought. I think it was a vacuum cleaner. right? What did I do? I didn't just go to Target and look on the shelf. What did I do? I went to Amazon. I went to the manufacturer's website. I looked at reviews. I did some research to figure out if that was the best thing for me. Don't you think your people are doing the same thing? Your people at your parties? If it's a high dollar product, you better be talking about it enough and explaining it enough so that people know that they need it. Okay. So my rule of thumb, just my personal rule of thumb when I'm writing captions, when I'm writing when I was writing posts for my own parties, is the more expensive the product, the more times I need to talk about it. Makes sense? And the more I need to build desire, because it's a bigger ask. A $15 product is a small ask. A $200 product is a big one. Okay. So the question I always get asked is, how long should my captions be? Okay. So you're like, okay, well, if I'm talking too little or talking too much, how long should my party captions be? As long as it needs to be. I know that's not a clear answer, but as long as it needs to be. In other words, long enough to clearly outline the benefits of the product and no more. Because when we go the no more, when we go past that, we cause confusion, right? And then it gets too long, right? So more complex products likely have more benefits, so they're naturally going to be longer, okay? So that's something that you need to ask yourself. Is it long enough? Am I talking enough about it to be clear about the benefits and to build desire? Or am I talking too long about it and I'm rambling on with stuff that doesn't matter? And the biggest thing I see, is some of the high dollar products. But another thing I see, guys, is with the business. Is you guys are rambling on and on and on about all this nonsense about the business. Like, what is the business going to do for me? Give me clear answers. I don't care. A lot of times, guys, people don't care about how many trips you've taken or the years and years and all this other stuff. Give them some clearly defined benefits that you can easily communicate and you can easily tell them about, because otherwise they're confused and they won't convert. Okay. So the other thing to ask yourself about communicating too little or too much is, do my party captions have a clear logical flow that's easy to understand? In other words, am I explaining myself well? Am I speaking clearly? So if you have, here's a mistake I see all the time. If you have copied and pasted captions from past parties or even other people without actually reading through them, you get this Frankenstein post caption. That's what I call it. It's like a Frankenstein party, Frankenstein host coaching, where it's just pieced together with parts. One of my kids had to read Frankenstein over the summer for summer reading. And that was like part of it, right? Like he was like, this is crazy. And I'm like, I know, because it's just this hodgepodge of stuff that's been pieced together. And so, in all likelihood, if you've done that, your captions aren't clear. Your messaging isn't clear. It will be choppy and it won't have a clear flow. So get someone else to read them or read them out loud. Okay, read them out loud. Does this make sense? Because a lot of times when we're reading it, in a caption, or maybe you're never going back to read them, which is an even bigger mistake. If you're reading through them, you're like, okay, does that actually make sense? And one of the things I teach to our squad members, I've talked about this multiple times in there, is a PAS framework. And this is just conversion copywriting. And it's something I always did this, but I never actually knew what the acronym was. And it's problem, agitation, solution. PAS, problem, agitation, solution. So first, when you're thinking about your party captions, identify the problem first. What is the problem that this product is going to solve? Okay, what is the problem that my customer has that I can solve for them? And then you want to kind of agitate the solution a little bit, okay? Or agitate the problem, not the solution. Agitate the problem a little bit. So if the problem is time, talk more about how it's going to solve their time problem. If the problem is, getting dinner on the table, talk more about how it's going to solve the problem, or agitate that problem a little bit more. Talk more about that problem and the struggles with that problem. If it's, I'm thinking of my hands are kind of dry right now. So I'm thinking of skincare. If my problem is dry skin, agitate that problem. How do people feel when their skin is dry? Okay, agitate that problem a little bit. Use words that they use, and then offer them the solution. Okay, talk about the solution that this product provides. So when we use that PAS framework, it can be short, it can be long. It just depends on how big the problem is and because pretty much how expensive the product is, right? So think about that when you're talking about when you're thinking about your captions. It's a very simple framework that you can use. Okay. And you can read more about that. You can Google it, PAS. It's problem, agitation, solution. Okay. All right. So that's number one. Either you're talking too little or talking too much. So evaluate your captions. Am I talking too little about a product, or am I spending, a $200 product? Am I talking enough about it? Am I putting it in multiple posts? Am I building desire? Or am I really cheap products? Okay. Am I taking up valuable real estate with this really long post about a $15 product when it doesn't need it? I'm talking too much about it. Therefore, I have talked people out of it. Okay. Makes sense? Next one. Okay. Talking about products that don't actually sell. Okay. Putting products in your parties that don't actually sell. This is a problem I've seen a lot recently. Friends, every company has their top sellers. It's just the way it is. Every company, mine included. So they're the top sellers for a reason. People want to buy them. They most readily offer a solution to a problem that they're facing. These are the things that people want and need the most, right? So why are you adding so many other products without at least mentioning your top sellers? Okay. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, but Mary, I need to show them all the things that are new. I need to show them all these other things. Maybe they'll buy those. Friends, they're going to most readily buy the things that are the top sellers, or they're going to add to their top selling collections. So I would challenge you to go to your back office. Okay. Here's your challenge, and see which products you've actually sold in the last 6 months. And does that align to your party content? Are you talking about those things, right? Are they the ones that you featured most in your parties? Or are they the ones that are going to outsell others anyway, right? They're going to outsell others. And so this is kind of the concept of, once I've got momentum, or once I've got something working, I'm going to throw logs on the fire. Because what would happen if you talked about these products and new people, right? New people were in your parties, new people that are being introduced to your products and to your company, and your old people start chiming in and they're like, oh my gosh, you have to get this thing, right? They're going to sell the product for you. They're going to sell the product for you. So now you might be thinking, okay, I need to tell all the people at the party about the new stuff and stuff they haven't seen. But here's the reality, guys. Okay. You're going to have a mix of people at your party. People who are new to your products, they've never heard of you, and people who aren't new, they're your veterans, right? So don't forget about the newbies and the products that made the veterans fall in love with your company to begin with, okay? Everyone does not have your top selling products. Trust me, okay? Everyone does not have them. And I did some math, you guys, because I wanted to kind of drive this point home. And so I went back and I looked at our email list, and I looked at the people who have purchased, or the percentage of people that have purchased our top 2 selling products. And so our top 2 selling products are the Savvy Seller Squad, which is our group coaching program, and then the 4-week fix. That is our top selling products, not just by revenue, but by quantity. Okay. So only 3% of the people on our list are part of our Savvy Seller Squad. 3%. Okay. Right. Only less than 5% of the people on our email list have purchased and gone through the 4-week fix. Okay. Both of these are our top sellers and the product that's going to provide the most benefit to our customers. And guess what else? These are the products that we talk about the most, because we know people need them. The other products, we mentioned them, but we're not going to spend our time talking about them, because that's not what people are going to buy anyway. It's not our top producers. So are you guys looking at your data? I always say the data tells the story, right? So are you looking at your data to see what's actually selling and what people actually want? So take a sec to look at what you're selling. Okay. Are you actually sharing those things at your parties? That's the question to ask yourself. So then the question comes up, well, what about other products, Mary? Okay. Yes, sprinkle them in. Okay. Yes, sprinkle them in. But things that aren't selling have no business taking up real estate in your parties. Every single post in your virtual parties, in your VIP group, on your business page is valuable real estate, and you are wasting real estate by posting about things that you have never sold. Now, obviously, if you have new products coming out, they're not going to have sold yet, but you should know a little bit, and your company will probably know which products are going to be your top sellers. Okay. So you know what we do with products that don't sell? Okay, we give it some time, we promote it, we let people know about it. And if it doesn't sell, guess what we do? We take it down. Like it doesn't even live in the shop. We take them out of our shop. We don't even offer them because why? Because it would cause confusion and lead people away from the things that they need to buy anyway, or the things that are going to give them the biggest transformation. Does that make sense? So I don't want to confuse them and cause them to be overwhelmed by a product that's not actually going to give them the most benefit, right? And that's going to be the top seller anyway. That's just junking up our real estate. Okay, does that make sense? So that's kind of a reality check that a lot of people have to have. Okay, we've got to make sure that we're actually selling the things and promoting the things that are going to give people the most transformation. They're going to save people the most time. They're going to save people the most money. Make sense? Yeah. Okay, we have to flip how we're thinking about this. We have to flip about it. Okay, and then the last one, I talk about this a lot, you guys, but I really want to drive this home because I've seen it a lot recently, is confusing or overwhelming graphics. Confusing or overwhelming graphics. So I want you to think of the point. What is the purpose of your graphic? Okay, your graphic or your image is what I'm talking about when you post something in a party. What is the purpose of the image? Okay. It's the purpose is to stop the scroll. That's the purpose. The purpose is to stop someone's scroll because 80% of what we consume is from our feed. Okay. They're not actually going into your party. Most people are not going into your party and scrolling. They're seeing it come up in their home feed. So the purpose is to stop people from scrolling. And so they actually read your caption. Okay. It's to get people to read. So I've seen so many people lately that try to cram a bunch of images like into an album or into a collage. But when I scroll past it, the way that Facebook orients that image or arranges the photo, it makes it really confusing because you can't see the product's chopped off, that sort of thing. So in my head, I'm like, what is that? Right? But not in a cool, like, what is that? Let me go take a look at it. But what is that? I'm going to keep scrolling. Okay. So the thing you have to figure out, the biggest test here is to check your graphics on mobile. Okay. Most people are viewing your content on mobile. They're viewing it on their phone or a tablet, something like that. Most people are viewing it from the app on their phone. So pull out your phone, take a scroll through your party and ask yourself, does this image cause people to stop and read? Okay. Will this image cause people to stop and read? Bright colors usually work really well. Faces usually work really well, especially your face if you're putting your face on your graphics. Is the product being buried in a bunch of text? So when you're doing a product image, make sure that you don't have so much text and like all this junk pointing at the product that you can't even see the product. The product is what we want to sell, right? So make sure we're not burying it in text. And then if you do have text on your image, which I think there is value to adding text on images, right? But can you actually read the text on the image? Okay, some people put these crazy backgrounds or crazy colors and you're combining them. And I'm 43, and so my eyes don't work as well as they used to. That's apparently my eye doctor says that's what happens when you hit your 40s. And so even like when I have my glasses on and I have a huge monitor on my screen, I'm like, I don't even know some of these. I don't even know what they say. Neon green on bright red background. Stop it. Okay, guys, that is like the worst combination. And people are like, I can't even read it because I'm twitching. Okay, make sure that you're checking your color combinations. Okay, make sure that you're keeping it where people can actually read the image. If you're going to take the time to spend the time in Canva or PicMonkey or whatever you're using to create these graphics, make sure they can be read, friends. Make sure they can be read. Okay, so does the image cause people to stop and read? Is the product being buried in text? And can you read the text on the image? Like literally, yes. Yeah. Holidays are coming up, friends. Get that green and red out of there. Use green or red. Okay. Don't try to mix them together, especially the more neon colors. Like it is so hard to read. And people, if they can't read it, guys, they're not going to do what you want them to do. So another question to ask yourself is, do the images go together? This is another one that I've seen is, are they the same type? So for example, if you're sharing a product post, are you including recipes, quick tips, videos, hacks, all of that? So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? What is the purpose of this post, right? Or are you just sharing images, different images of the product? Maybe you have, a main image, maybe you have some images with other features called out, things like that. Or are you sharing like 17 different kinds of images? Okay, so when we're thinking about categories of posts or kinds of images, think about recipes. Okay, my Pampered Chef people, recipes, or my Epicure people. recipes or step by step. If you're doing like skincare, my Stampin' Up! Friends, I'm thinking like my 31 friends, like if you're teaching someone how to organize something, my Tool of 12 friends, if you're teaching them how to put together a planner. So any of those step-by-step things, those are similar. They can go together, right? Okay. Products. Let's keep our products together. Okay. Products together. Tips. If you're posting a bunch of tips, they can scroll through the tips. But when you're asking someone, when you're like, okay, here's a product, and then here a product image, and then here's a video, and then, oh, here's a recipe, and then here's a how-to or a hack, my brain is having to process different information every time I see a different type of image. Show me a bunch of step-by-steps. Show me a bunch of images of the product. Show me several tips if you want. If you want to, you can just do one. You can just do one. You don't have to do 17. Okay, friends. But some people like to put a collage or like an album that people can, swipe through. That's fine. How-tos. When you're thinking about collections, do different pieces of the collection, pieces and parts of the collection, not the collection and then the hack and then the step-by-step instruct. Like all of that, it's too much, friends. It's too much. Okay. Think about this. Again, causing confusion. Let's narrow the focus a little bit and keep the similar things together. It will help your people. It will help your people convert because they won't be confused. They were like, what am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to respond to this hack or this tip that doesn't have anything to do with this product just because it sort of kind of relates? No. Take those out, separate them, break them into categories. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful, you guys. Let's review. So first thing is talking too much or talking too little. So evaluate, am I talking enough or am I talking so much that I'm confusing people? Talking about products that you don't actually sell. Okay. So evaluate what products are actually selling and can I ramp those up a little bit for all my newbies coming in, because those are the things that cause people to fall in love with my company to begin with. I was with Pampered Chef. And so stoneware was gravy. Talked about it in almost every party. Why? Because we're always adding new pieces and everybody loves it. Okay. Everybody loves it. And I always sold stoneware, right? Okay. That and like the food shopper. That was like classic. Okay. And then confusing or overwhelming graphics. So make sure you're grouping your graphics kind of by category of type of post. And then make sure they're easy to read. They're not buried in crazy colors, fonts, scripty fonts that can't be read. Guys, go look at those on mobile and it will be eye-opening to you, because when I can see something on a 17-inch monitor, completely different than when I'm looking on my phone, right? It looks completely different. So make sure you're doing that. All right, guys, have a fabulous rest of your day and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.